All right, so here goes. Just kind of like a walkthrough guide of what to do with this Beelzemon deck. Um, First, starting off, got the 4 Pagumon. These are pretty consistent for right now and how the deck works. Inheritable is you just trash 2 cards from your deck when you get deleted. So when you're swinging, a lot of the time you are poking them and just trying to fill your trash up. That's what this egg's for. Sometimes though you can be a little bit conservative with this effect. Maybe you have a really cracked hand and you're able to mill pretty fast, so being careful with this egg. Another one of the things is the ruling on this egg. It's not so much specific to the egg per se, but for the deck, just to kind of touch one of the importance is with this in combination with the Beelzemon that summons when it's milled. So I'll just give you like an example with this one. All right, this one doesn't say it summons when it's trashed, but we're going to use it as an example. So let's just say these in combination mill 5. So we're just going to gather 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just going to go ahead and mix them up. Kind of give it a good little mix. All right. So when this swings and it dies, this egg, you want to use this egg's effect first. Because what it's going to do is it's going to filter before the Impmon's effect. And I'll tell you why. So if you trash 2, right? 1, 2. Cool. You didn't hit the Beelzemon. And then you trash an additional 3. 1, 2. Beelzemon triggers off of the Impmon. So this has a target in trash. You can summon this one. And then you can continue the mill for this one. And then you have your third one. What would happen though is if you use Pagumon and you mill this and there's not an Impmon in trash, you can target the one that's dying and it will come out into play. But if you do that, since the Beelzemon pulls it from the trash, its mill effects are negated because it's no longer in the discard pile to activate its effect. So that's the ruling. So sometimes you want to swing, you can mill the 3 here, and you'll sometimes get like crappy luck, and you'll mill like 3, so you'll go 1, 2, 3, and then it's the Beelzemon. Then you special summon the Impmon, but then you whiff on the Pagumon, because the Pagumon is the same attached digimon. So this is 1 unit. When this unit dies, and you mill 3 from this, and you special summon this no longer is a valid target. It's like a ghost effect. It just does not happen. So that's just one of the things I try to avoid. So I always try to do the Pagumon first. Plus, sometimes you do get lucky. You mill an Impmon, and then you get to special summon it from trash. Okay, that's the importance of the egg. That's the importance of how that Beelzemon works, because you can whiff certain mill effects, and it just depends on you, the player, if you're going to keep with them or not. One of the few things that this deck can actually do, some folks don't really like doing it, but you can do it. It's between this or this as far as your base level 3. So this Impmon, it says, we're going to just focus on inheritables from here. When a card is trashed from your deck, delete a level 3. So if they have something like, oh, you don't gain any memory, the very first time a card is trashed, you delete a level 3. So that way you can gain memory. If they have something that says you can't, you instantly kill it. Then we're going to focus on this one. This one just says if it's a Beelzemon, you gain 3,000 DP, which is pretty cracked. We've talked about the Agumon gives 2k. 3k is even better, like just for how his stats go. But this will come in handy because one of the things I like to do is ladder up, digivolve one of these two onto the egg, and keep it in raising. The main reason why I keep it in raising with at least one of these two eggs is because in my deck, you don't have to, but you have Wizardmon, and you have, well, I use Witchmon. So what these two do is they basically support the deck with their inheritables. This one, if it's like a wizard or a demon lord, gains 2k. So with the 3k, you get 5k, so you can kill over the mirror matches. Or this one, you may reveal a purple card in your hand. It really doesn't matter as long as it's purple, and return it to the top of your deck. This is a combo piece, and I'm going to tell you why. Because when you attack, you can mill. So, if we're going to go based off of like, okay, let's just say this Impmon from the starter deck, this Wizardmon with that mill effect, and luckily, Beelzemon's right here. Beelzemon, when you're digivolving, you trash the top 3 cards of your deck. If you have 10 in your trash, it gains this effect. So it's not, oh, you have to have 10 and then it gains it. No, it just says this gains the on deletion effect. When you have 10 or more cards in trash, you can play a Beelzemon from your trash without paying the cost until the end of your opponent's turn. So the second you digivolve, if you're able to swing with it, you can swing with it and it dies, great. Then you can trigger his effect and play a Beelzemon, which the one over here is one of the main targets I like to use, and we'll get into that. But the cool effect is you get to mill 3. One of the things that I like to do is when you come out of raising, your level 4s, they only cost 2 to digivolve each. So if we're to be like, oh, okay, let's use Witchmon as a good example. You have your egg, you have Impmon, okay? You can go ahead and trigger. Here, let's go ahead and move this out the way. It's kind of getting in the way of what I want to kind of like present to you with the ladder. I just kind of did it because of the glare. But Impmon, you go Witchmon, digivolve. Okay, Witchmon says when you digivolve, you trash the top 3 cards of your deck. One of the things that we're looking for as far as milling is you want to mill this, this, or Wizardmon. Okay, these are bountiful in the deck. This gains you a memory when it's milled. So does Wizardmon. And this, if you mill anything and you mill this, the very next turn you're able to grab any piece that you need. It says you can grab, return 1 purple card or tamer card from your trash. So as long as it's a purple Digimon or a purple tamer, you grab it from your trash. So, if you do this and you get this, you can grab one of your top end pieces, not have to really worry about it later, or you can save it to the late game because it's an on delay, so you can use it anytime you want. But the main things is we want to shoot to maybe mill one of these because you gain a memory. So when you come out of raising, if you're left with 1 memory and you digivolve here, you'll pass them to 1, but if you mill this, you go to 0. So you keep turn. That's why Witchmon's so good. Plus, milling 3 is pretty strong in this deck when you want to reach your numbers. Because then if you mill 3, right, and then you gain 1 memory at least, you keep turn and you go here, Beelzemon for 3. A lot of the time your opponent will go to 3 anyway, because if they have a memory tamer or something, that's just how it works. But if you hit one of these, this is EX2, Impmon. And what it says is when it's milled by an effect other than its own effect, you can mill up to an additional 3. So what that looks like is if you get the nuts and you mill 1, 2, 3 with Beelzemon, You gain 2 memory. You gain 1 memory here, 1 memory here. This will go to your battle area. Or you mill one of these. This is an extender, which means you can mill like an additional 3. So one of the things that might happen, might look like something funny. You mill like your tamer. You mill like some random. Doesn't really matter. And then you mill maybe like a rival's barrage. This will still go to the battle area. You got an additional 2 cards into your trash. If you hit the tamer, rival's barrage will grab the tamer back. So it's like adding it to hand, and it's trading in trash. So this goes to trash. This goes to hand. Your count stays the same. And one of the things that this card's mentioning, I know it might be redundant, but if you mill itself, you can't mill an additional 3. It stops there. So, for example, when this Impmon dies, it's not the same Impmon, so he'll die, he'll mill this one. You can mill an additional 3. That's just how that works. But if we get into this combo here, you have Beelzemon, you have deletion effects. Basically, if you do the Witchmon, right? She says if you're a wizard, Beelzemon's a wizard. So he's going to gain 2k more, so he's going to be 9,000. It's not really in your benefit if you're actually looking for it to die. But even if it doesn't, when it goes to your opponent's turn and they kill it, you get a Beelzemon. So if they don't kill it and you don't die from checking, you can just Digivolve. That's just one of the main things right there. But you can, when attacking, swing, Impmon trigger, kill their little dude. Beelzemon will, if Beelzemon dies, you want to trigger Pagumon first, because what could happen is you Pagumon 1, 2. Now you have 2 more cards in trash for his effect to reach that 10, and then you will be able to special summon a Beelzemon. One of the Beelzemons that I use, it's pretty easy to get. It's very easy to get. I have the alternate art, which, you know, I'm fortunate for, but it's an uncommon. All right. It's either, no. Yeah, it's an uncommon. So this comes in uncommon. It's a cross heart. Right here it says on play or when you Digivolve. You may trash the top 3 cards of your deck. Then for every 10 cards in your trash, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower. So when Beelzemon dies, you know, he'll trigger. This comes from trash. His on play will trigger. You mill 3 more cards. Which, by the way, if they kill it on their turn, if you mill 3 cards, let's just say something stupid like this, you'll gain 2 memory on their turn, get an additional card. Then for every 10 cards in trash, you delete one of their level 4 or lower. So when an opponent uses an effect or something, it can really hurt them in killing your dude to special summon this. You can potentially, against a mirror, kill their board, because sometimes they'll have this super rare Impmon out and it's a level 3. They were hoping to maybe use it the next turn. Well, it's dead. Another important thing is his inheritable. At the end of the attack, for every 10 cards in your trash, you gain 1 memory. So with this one, just to give you an example, if they kill it, and go ahead and look for it real quick. If they kill your Beelzemon, it comes and it passes to your turn. Okay. One of the things you're going to be looking for in your trash, which is of importance, at least for your list. I run this blast mode, right? But you're going to primarily run this blast mode, right? This one says unsuspend this Digimon. If you have 20 or more cards in your trash, gain 3 memory. Right? So on your turn, this can attack. the reason to run this iMako, the 4 cost, you can suspend. Let's just say, you know, you mill, blast mode's effect, kill something, and then even if this isn't the card that was milled by this tamer, as long as it's in your trash and you attack with a Beelzemon, you can digivolve into it. And then the way this works is you unsuspend. If you have 20 cards in your trash, you'll gain 3 memory from his effect. This makes it 3, so it costs 0 to digivolve. And then you have your inheritable. For every 10 cards in trash, gain 1 memory. So you can swing. Let's just say you have 30 cards in trash, you'll gain 3. So you check twice and then you'll gain 3 memory. Now you start with 3, you gain 3, you're at 6 memory. Pretty cracked. With 6 memory, you can do something like this. You have Beelzemon. Beelzemon, for every 10 cards in trash, reduce her by 4. So if you have 30 cards in trash, she's reduced by 12. So she's a 1 drop. With 6 memory, you drop her for 1. Okay, you're at 5 memory. With 5 memory, you're able to do something silly, like, let's just say we'll get back into this combo here. 6 memory. All right, go down to 5. This combo here is 5 memory because it's 3 to hard drop, 2 to digivolve. 3. Okay, your board looks something like this. Yeah, you hard drop that for 3. She only cost the 1. You digivolve for 2. You trash. She says when you trash a card, whether it's on your opponent's turn or your turn, you get to special summon a Beelzemon. So, first you'll trash 3. Just say, 1, 2, 3. And then her effect will trigger. You can grab any Impmon from your trash and play it. It will also have Rush. So, one of the Impmons you actually want to have in your trash, at least one of at all times, is this one. Because he says when you have 20 cards in trash, digivolve from your trash. So he'll come out for free. Okay. Now your board state's looking pretty healthy. Okay. You have a level 6 for next turn, a level 7, a level 4, which you can go into a level 5 and redo the whole stack, or you got your Impmon. This one, so he'll digivolve into any Beelzemon for 3. It really doesn't matter which one it is, which is great because you could digivolve into this one here and use his when digivolving effect, and then you could go into this, or you can use this one, which I personally like, to go into the starter deck Beelzemon. I think I put it over here in this stack. This one. So this Beelzemon, trash the top 4, and then for every 10 cards, gain a memory. So this whole combo is done at 30 cards in trash. So if you're digivolving not for 4, but for 3 because of his effect, you will gain the 3 memory back and keep turn, and you will security attack +1. So, the sequence goes, you do that, swing, digivolve from trash, mill the top 4, get your combo off. If you mill one of these, you gain an additional memory. Can help sometimes. But then you check too. All right. One of the goals is to have this already been trashed and you save it. If you get this full combo and you swing and you have +1 for the turn, you gain the memory, you keep turn, you can then from your trash, let's just say it's trash, right? You can then use this, trash that, grab this, digivolve here, unsuspend, and then swing for another 2 checks. Craziest thing about this is that this is basically the goal. If your opponent hits a card, let's just say, for example, they kill this on your side. So let's just remove all of this. Right? Let's just get it out the way. You have Beelzemon, and you then play this. Beelzemon for 1, Impmon for 3. Their turn. Right? Say you got some security, whatever. On their turn, if they kill this, and you mill 3, her effect will trigger because you milled, and then you can play an Impmon on their turn. Now they have to answer this. A lot of the time, they will not answer her. They will answer this because they're afraid of Beelzemon. But it's funny because whether they answer this one or this one, if they can answer both, unfortunate, whatever, right? But if they kill this, right, he's dead. All right, your turn. We're hoping you have something in raising, but if you don't, that's totally fine. Because with her, you have Beelzemon can digivolve over any purple level 6 for 4. So, if we dropped her for 1, like what we would typically shoot for, 30 in trash, you can swing with her, 11. If this does not die, there's 2 things you could do. If you raise and you have the Impmon, swing with it, trash, special summon this one. If you don't and you can't raise, you just digivolve into this. It's pretty basic. You digivolve, you'll gain the 3 memory, unsuspend. Now he only cost 1. And then you can swing again. That's what happens. You're still going to get your 2 security checks even if they focus on the Impmon and it dies. One of the things that I noticed that a lot of people have been messing up on is sequence. Sequence is pretty simple, but I'll just kind of touch it. Because as main player, I'll just give you an example. Let's say this is your only one. Okay. We'll go with the ladder effects, because this is where it usually gets confusing for some folks. And then we'll pull out some of the primary targets as far as how this is going to go. But let's just say you raise out with your egg. Impmon, okay? In this point in time, well, actually, there's like 2 more cards. 1, 2. Okay. You raise Impmon, okay? Let's say these cards are in your hand, all right? This is your hand, and it's on and off between which level 4, but you have Beelzemon, right? So this card first, let's just touch on it. When you play it, reveal 4 cards. You can add an evil, a wizard, or a demon lord in its traits to your hand. Then you place the rest to the bottom of the deck. So this will literally grab you any piece that you need in your deck other than option cards and put it to your hand. So if you have an incomplete ladder, like let's say you have the level 3, the level 5, no level 4, when you play this, you can grab a level 4. Vice versa. It really doesn't matter as long as you can get what you're looking for. But it's not always dead, because its second ability is when your Digimon digivolves into a purple Digimon, suspend this tamer, return 1 card from your hand on top of the deck, gain a memory. So here's where this sequence comes into play. For 3, let's say it's already out, you raise Impmon. Okay. The confusing one is, let's just say you have a simple play, Wizardmon. When you digivolve, it's when it's happening. People make the mistake to suspend this tamer, first. Place, let's just say, this on top. Okay, when it's milled, has an effect, but they place this on top of their deck. You are now forced to draw for when digivolving. You now draw the card you just placed on top. I don't know why you would do this, because it doesn't function as good. Now, sometimes it can help, but in this instance, we're just going to say it's kind of dumb, right? Because now all you did was gain the 1 memory, cost 1. It can help, but if you have 2 memory, or if you're going into, instead of Wizardmon, you're going into your Prime Witchmon. Witchmon says you trash 3 after you digivolve. So if we were to do it in the sequence that it should be done in, let's just say this is the top card, right? It's on top. Okay. You digivolve her, draw a card. All right. Looks like I got more options for my hand. Put that there. Suspend. I'm about to place one of these 5 cards on top of my deck. I can kill one of their dudes. I can have a Beelzemon for him to target. I can have an Impmon in case I special summon. I can have just this get special summoned. Gain a memory or gain a memory. If you want to keep this as a kill card, keep it as a kill card. It costs 4. It's amazing. You can put this on top if you want to gain the memory. What happens is you'll gain a memory for placing on top, then she'll trash. So, some things that I like to do. Let's just say we didn't draw, Wizardmon. It's just something else. If you have Deathslinger, put it on top. Her effect will trigger. Let's just say we're fortunate. Math. Okay. So we put this on top after we draw a card. So that's our draw card. Mill 3. Gain a memory because you planned to put this on top of this. So now you've gained 2 memory. She only costs 2, so you're 0. Perfect. Keep turn. Mill. You can mill an additional 3. Finish her effect first. Number 3. Alright. And then from here you have an extender, which is great. If you mill more cards that give you more memory, it's great. But then you have this in your hand. Digivolve, mill 3. You've kept your turn. You've minimized how much memory you give your opponent. And you've used this properly to plan. Now, in the instance where you digivolve into your level 4, you trash 3, you don't use this. And then, you just get some free value. You can go into your level 5, draw first, and then trigger this. You'll put something on top of the deck. And then Beelzemon would trigger. Trash. Gain a memory. And then whatever other cards you have to mill. At this point, a lot of the time, you get pretty good memory value. You can actually keep turn and swing. This is what we're looking for. One of the main things as far as the starting hand goes that I didn't really touch on, but it's quite important. If you ever play in a tournament, they allow mulligans, etc. What you're going to be looking for in your hand a lot of the time just to kind of get on, touch the base here. Doesn't matter what Beelzemon you draw. It's always good to have something in hand, Beelzemon. But with your egg, you want value. So with your egg starting, you almost always want to see this on your first hand. If you can mulligan and you draw this card, your setup is going to be insane. This is the egg and the Impmon you want to start with, like almost 100% of the time. If you don't get this for whatever reason, you have this second option, Impmon. Impmon, he can search. He can grab you anything with Beelzemon in name and an Mako. Either one of them. The 4 cost or the 3 cost. If you get the 3 cost, it's great. Which is another thing I'd like to touch on. Try and get one of these in hand. If your starting turn is Digivolve Impmon, play Mako, grab Witchmon from the reveal, you have quite a bit of options. Because you can raise, swing, mill. If you get the Beelzemon that special summons, you can special summon this, then Digivolve, mill an additional 3. You're set. Like, you have so much value from that it's insane. I can go ahead and do a quick shuffle up and just kind of run you through what it looks like with this deck. Personally, I like trying to choke my opponent as much as possible. Secondly, it's very aggressive, so you always want to set up for either to counter your opponent and blow up their board, or set up to just wipe out their security as fast as you can. That's why the Impmons are so crucial, because they are able to hit your opponent, mill your deck, and whatever you mill, you just get free value. A lot of the time, you can even drop tamers on your turn and keep turn, and then maybe choke them with a second tamer, which is great. Being able to find your pieces from trash because of rivals, the option card, is also one of the new things that I would say. It just depends. If your hand is cracked, you know you're going to use your hand. So my advice is like, you do the full combo. If you have those on board, you save them. Because when you come into late game and your opponent does something you weren't expecting, you can recover using those cards. It's just that good. But let's say it's the early game and you mill it. You can possibly also gain the advantage, which is the reverse and rolls, where you actually make the comeback. You get the cards you need with it, and you just decimate your opponent. Okay. So the new mulligan, I'm not sure if they're running it in the tournaments you're playing in. So I'm just gonna do no mulligan. Let's just see what it looks like regular. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 security. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see what I get. All right, not too bad. I got my memory setter, destruction card, Impmon, and a Witchmon. So I'm not nervous here. Pagumon, obviously, Impmon, draw that 1 card. All right, here's this one, right? I have 2 options here. Typically, the way I measure it is based on the matchup. So if you have an idea on what your opponent's playing against, great. If not, don't worry about it. I have 2 costs here, 4 and 3. This will set me to 3 on my next turn, which secures me being able to digivolve into Witchmon. Or I can hard play this. When you pass in Digimon, they go to 3 anyway. So hard playing this would be like saying, you know what? I'm going to hit you, mill 3. Or you can kill it, I'll still mill 3. But you have to answer it. If you don't answer it, you get free value. So I like going for the mill first. So I would just hard play this, honestly. And the reason I say that is because if we gain memory, we can play this and potentially choke them. So I would just have this in raising, hard play this. Great. Their turn comes. Let's say they put us to 1. All right, we're at 1 memory. Let's see what we can do here. Draw. Beelzemon. All right, with 1 memory, how cracked are we? Raise. swing with this one first. Always have the potential of this one being deleted from like maybe an option card or something, but usually this will die. So in combat, 1k. All right, it dies. Mill 3. 1, 2, 3. Effect. Basically, when this card's trashed, delete a level 3. For every 10 cards, increase. So we'll delete a level 3. Boom. Total 1, 2, 3, 4 cards in trash, and we have 4 targets. We could add this to hand or digivolve it from using the tamer. We could use this for Ballmon. We could use this for Beelzemon. So we're literally set for the entire game. From our trash, no one can really affect it. No one's really running Merciless to take cards from our trash, put them to the bottom of our deck. So we're good there. I have the option now. I could play this, but I actually want to be a little cheeky. Go Witchmon. Draw a card. Alright, we got the Ballmon. Alright. Stupid, right? We have the ladder. Now, we have to mill 3 cards. We are hoping, because we're still at 1, we're hoping to gain 1 memory. At least 1 memory. Can we do it? 1, 2, 3. Alright. So these guys get milled. No biggie. Milled 3 cards. It's their turn. If they kill this card, you mill an additional 2. If they don't, then we're in a good spot. But let's say they attack us. Deathslinger. Kill one of their dudes. Boom. It's level 4. You know, level 4 or lower currently. But for every 10 cards in your trash, it increases the level. Since we just started the match, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, unfortunately, can't kill a level 5. But a lot of the time, your opponent will be swinging on their second turn with a level 4, or they will digivolve into a level 5, which typically ends up passing the turn. Because either they hard dropped a memory tamer, but since they left us at that 1, a lot of the time, they might have done like a searcher and then played like their level 4 in raising area. You can get choked however they want to do it. But since we left them at 1, if they don't have a memory tamer, you kill their level 4. We're going to say since the Beelzemon that got milled killed a level 3, they don't have any more attacks. So they'll just do what they do and then pass turn. Draw. Okay. If we hatch here, I've got no Impmons or anything like that. So, assuming they were at 1, didn't gain any memory, we're at 2. So we have to try and gain 1 memory from here. So we'll digivolve here, draw 1 card. Okay. And then mill 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Tamers go bye-bye. But we got this. So rivals, like I was saying, you can use this to get one of these tamers back and then play it. Their turn. On their turn, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So since, like I was saying, you have the Beelzemon in here, this can get special summoned if they kill him. If they don't kill him, they're in for a little bit of heat on their next turn, because we've essentially already swung 1 time, swing another time, and then go into a Beelzemon. They could be in for some deep trouble there. But if they hit us, okay, Skull Satamon, Impmon. Let's even say they set up their board. 3. Alright, Wizardmon. Just another thing, like security, math. You know, if you see your Wizardmons or something that gains you memory come out from your trash, that's just something to keep track of, so that you know when you mill, you have a higher chance of knowing what you're going to mill. That's just important. So like right now, I have 1 wizard, 1 Deathslinger, Okay. And then I have in my hand another Death Slinger. So I have 2 Death Slinger unaccounted for, and I have 3 Wizards unaccounted for. So that's 5 cards. If we say this could be one of them, I don't really think so, but we have a potential of 5 memory in here waiting to get milled out. If they don't kill this, it's our turn. Draw. Alright, we literally just drew another one. So, odds are, can we do it? You Digivolve here. Draw. Mill 3. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so we gain a memory. Can mill an additional 3. I always go for max. 1, 2, 3. Put one of these into your battle area. Let's say you keep turn. This is great. You can use this. Grab a card from your trash. If we have a Beelstar in here, that'd be fantastic. But if not, go for like the Tamer. Or, since we already have this, you know, we have to think about how many we have in trash now. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 cards. Kind of rough, right? Another skill, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Once you have 10 cards, just make a stack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you have 8 cards, or you know, just not 10, I put them like this. And then when it does become 10, I'll put it sideways, and I just kind of overlap them. Kind of like what you do with security, but in stacks of 10. So you're not always constantly counting your cards. And one of the things that you can do, I'll be like, you know what? In this stack, there's 2 cards that I know I'll probably target. I just put them on top of the stack. And then there. I don't have to look through. I know what my deck does. I put these on top because I'm either going to grab this, Digivolve into this, or drop this, or Digivolve into this. This card, when you use this card, for example, you put this in your trash and just put it in the same place as the card you're replacing it with. So then this goes to hand, this goes to trash, and then you're not messing up your stack. That's just a skill. So that way your count is always correct and your opponent's not always going to keep bothering you. Because one of the things they bother you the most about is, how many cards do you have in trash? I have 1 stack of 10. This stack is not 10, so I don't have to bother counting it. If they want to know because of their own effect, then you just know it's under 10, so you just count it real quick and that's it. So that's just one of the things I recommend. But if they have like a bunch of Digimon out and this Digivolved and you killed maybe their level 4s or lower, I'd probably swing over one of their Digimon, kill one of their big ones, and then pass their turn. Or if anything, you can come here, you know, swing, kill one, Digivolve, unsuspend, and then if you have enough memory to keep turn, great, you know, just kill another one and then kill something else. Or you just unsuspend. You are now not able to be targeted by an attack unless they can attack unsuspended, and that's pretty important. And then you have 2 cards that let you grab whatever you need. Another one of the scenarios is that, like what we have here as far as a board, I don't have a rookie in hand, so I can actually draw one. I want to, so I'm going to go ahead and use this. Come into here, grab this rookie, and Digivolve it, because it'll go to hand, draw a card. This is what I wanted. So for 0 memory, add a card, draw, got the Beelzemon. So we are looking mighty good here. We have another one, so it's going to be pretty dope here. We're going to go ahead and Beelzemon, and then when they mill on our turn or their turn, we're good to go. So, instance, we can swing. All right. If nothing happens, I would probably, if it was me, and they didn't really have a board established after swinging and dying in security or something like that, I would play this Imako. This would be like a good time to play it, because then you can digivolve from trash, so they'll have to either answer this, you can mill 2, you gain more cards in your trash, and then this will trigger and you get an Impmon, and they're in danger right after that. You literally have the hand. You have 3 destruction spells here. So, destroys, destroys, destroys. You have your Digivolve, and Digivolve. All which are great targets. So that's more or less how it flows. If you can start early and hard drop this, your opponent usually stresses because they get scared when they know they can't choke you, and you're also not only gonna start at 3 memory, but you have the potential to gain a lot more. So you could hard drop on their turn, Beelstar early. It works sometimes, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I wouldn't really recommend it. And the only other card in here that I really haven't talked about, but they are very helpful. If you have Beelzemon and you don't have a Beelzemon in trash, right? But you have like this in trash, your hand could be this Impmon and this Beelzemon. You play this Impmon, you trash this Beelzemon. She's a Demon Lord. Add her to your hand. So when you swing with Beelzemon and he dies, he can target. Another thing useful is this mills any card. You can trash a card from your hand. So it doesn't matter what it is. A lot of the time I do it because I can load my targets. But then you return a 7 Great Demon Lords or 3 Musketeer from trash to your hand. So has to be, it has to be 7 Great Demon Lords. So give me a sec here. This one is Wizard and 3 Musketeer. So she can be targeted. That's why I recommend that. This one, it says on the bottom of it, it is a Demon Lord, not a 7 Great Demon Lords. So you can't really target him to add back to hand. And this one also says Demon Lord, so you can't add that to hand. It has to be in name 7 Great Demon Lords. So, you're always going to be able to grab her using this, and you're always going to be able to pitch one of these Beelzemons, whatever one you want, so that way you can use Beelzemon's effect. Also, what's cool is you can use this Impmon, and you can discard this Impmon, grab Beelstarmon, and then play Beelstarmon, and then when you mill by an effect, you can special summon this Impmon. So it's kind of like a rookie-ish swarm, but that's more or less how the deck works. As for some combos, it just depends on the scenario of what your opponent is doing. If you're able to load up your trash as fast as possible, one of the things that you want to try and look for is try to get to 25 in trash and then be conservative of your deck. Because one of the things your opponent's going to look for is hoping you mill out. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 cards left in deck. It's not bad for how far we progressed to be in the aggression. So, it's really just up to you how you want to pilot the deck. Some recommendations are try and shoot for this, get that plus security, hit them hard, hit them early. I run Skull Satamon because when you digivolve, you trash 2, then you return 1 card with Demon Lord and his traits. So this will grab the Beelzemons because they are only Demon Lord, and he'll grab it. So he's kind of like the opposite of this card because it has to be 7 great, and this is Demon Lord. So they kind of fill the positions quite well. Also, if you don't get Balmon and you get Skullsatamon, he's great because he trashes too. So like I was saying, when you use this tamer, you can plan what card you're going to trash, and then gain the memory, making him cheaper than 3 for digivolving. And then if you have the great setup, go into this, trash 4, and when you trash, Skullsatamon's inheritable. When a card is trashed from your deck, gain 1 memory. So you gain 1 memory. So making him 3. And then whatever you gain from trashing, Wizardmons, etc., that will help you keep turn. You can potentially just ladder and swing. It's really basic, but into certain matchups like Blue Flare, who uses the amount of cards you have underneath as a weapon to stun you, when you raise, they can't really do much. And another thing, Witchmon, they can stun your dude, but you can go Witchmon, Digivolve, trash 3, potentially keep turn, go into Skullsatamon, trash another 2, and you can really ladder on your turn if they stun you. Important thing is people use Soulrai, which is a card that it determines that if you're a Digimon with no sources, you can't attack the player. But if you do have sources, for an example, Soulrai, okay, this can't attack Witchmon. Digivolve trash, now I can attack, and just get some more cards in trash. Or you ladder up. One of the things to be careful of with Blue Flare, 2 cards underneath is a prime target for their stun. So that's why I was saying when you ladder, you have an egg. So they can't stun you. Then you're in a good spot. And if this is Balmon and it dies, get a Beelzemon. So one of the niche things. A lot of other decks, they're just going to compete with you as far as board control and destruction, which this deck has plenty of. I'm currently running a version that does not use any of the special summon Beelzemon. My main objective, go into this, get the plus security, hit them hard. Some extra board control. I use the OG blast mode just because when he digivolves, delete all your opponent's Digimon with the highest level. He has +1 security for every 10 in trash, and when he's milled, you delete a level 4. So it's another mill effect, which to me is important because any card that gets milled, if it has a value outside of digivolving, it's really good. He's got 15k, super good. Comparison, this one has 14, so just that little bit more DP. You can beat over some stuff, even against your own opponents, Digimon who are pretty cracked. And then this gives 3k, so he's 18. Stupid. And yeah, that's more or less why I run this, because he's just another target. He's another blast mode. So if I got the tamer that digivolves from trash, he's going to put in some work to substitute if I don't have this one. So these both do pretty amazing jobs at removal and when attacking effects. Aside from that, the deck list that I sent you, that's going to be more or less something to practice with. If you find other cards, if people are able to help you get other cards that you might want to use in that deck, it'd be great. Uh, I know you're trying to get the Greymon deck and all, and you have maybe the money for that, but finishing your Beelzemon deck, maybe picking up like the OG Blast mode, or getting more of maybe like these basic Impmons that I know you said you didn't have, would help you complete the deck. That's something to probably look for. These ones right here. And just practice, practice, practice. Getting good with this, it's hard because you always have to be consistent with when you trigger your effects, how your effects work in conjunction with one another, and what it is your opponent is doing. But I've given you enough examples to kind of see more or less what your objectives are. Other than that, I really don't have much to say. It just comes with game experience after this point. But those were the combos. I hope this helps.